Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents G.I. Joe Tuesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 125, Dreadnought, Naugahyde, Pork Belly, and Yobo. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here we have on the top Cobra and number 125. And then you can see there's a little bit of a pattern in there. Then on the front we've got Cobra, Dreadnought, Naugahyde, Pork Belly, and Yobo. At least I guess that's how you say it. And again, that pattern is repeated along the packaging. Nice big window showcasing the figures and accessories. Cobra! And then G.I. Joe Classified Series, and then we've got some digital doodads over here. Hasbro print. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. 4 and up assortment number. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn. Some other symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode and recycled print. On this side, we've got some nice artwork of the characters. G.I. Joe Classified Series number 125. On this side, number 125 Cobra. And then I don't like what they've done here with the file card thingies, where it's not on a solid piece. So, new packaging. So, here we go. There's his skill sets. There's another photo of him. Here is a QR code you can scan that more than likely takes you to shop.hasbro.com rather than anything meaningful about the character. G.I. Joe Classified Series there at the bottom. On the back, number 125, Cobra. And then we've got some nice practical photography of the figures and then some digital render close-ups of some of the features there. Again, there's a skill set. Cobra, Dreadnought, Naugahyde, Pork Belly, and Yobo. Includes figure in 16 pieces. Parents, GIJoe.com, Hasbro print. And then over on this side, attention, especially don't stick things in your French pie hole. Warning, attention, Octung, don't stick things in any other language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. And some more small fine legalese made in China print. That, my friends, completes our look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers to take a look at some of the smaller accessories. And let's start. There's a loose arrow. And as you can see, it was pulled out of the mold or something, or it's molded funky at the arrowhead. And it looks like I'm going to have to trim some stuff off of it to give it a decent look. So there's that. And here we have his bow, which I'm reasonably sure we've probably seen this before in the line, but maybe not. It just looks, I don't know, kind of weird. And it does have this piece, which I'm guessing is some type of sight equipment, similar, I guess, a scope, maybe. So looks like it's molded mostly in this color, and then it's got these black paint apps on it, or it could be reversed, but I don't think so. I think it's the black is the paint app. And he comes with 2 of these knives, which I'm reasonably sure we have seen before. Molded in black plastic, nice silver paint app for the blade, and nicely detailed. And again, there are 2 of those. They are exactly alike. And then here we have his sword machete thing that I guess he ties onto his arm. But these have splits in them so you can fit them around his arm, or he can hold it in his hand and it just look funky with these on it. I don't know if you guys can tell, I've already spotted some things that I do not like, and I spotted some things that I didn't like as I was pulling him out the pack. But here's his trophy necklace, I suppose you could call it. Looks like it's got some teeth on it, molded in this color, and then it's got these bone colored paint apps on it, and it's pretty flexible. It goes back to its original shape, but it is flexible. Here we have a set of dog tags, which are the same dog tags that come with the 60th anniversary figures. And, you know, not bad molded detail. I mean, it's not super detailed or anything, but, you know, you get the idea that it's dog tags. And as you can see, it's flexible plastic. Here we have his quiver. You can see it has an open slot right here. These are molded in or glued in, and it has one open slot here for that one loose arrow, and then it's got a couple of straps here. The bow goes in this one, and then the sight can go here or here. I haven't really figured out what these are for, other than just alternate placement for the sight for the bow. The rifle barrel doesn't fit in here. The suppressor for the rifle doesn't fit in here in either one of these straps. This one could be for putting Yobo's tail in to kind of help him sit on Naugahyde's shoulder, but when I was messing with it earlier, that didn't work out so well either. But I have to say, this is a nice looking piece. I do like this. It would probably look better without the storage placement on it, but storage is the name of the game in Classified series. Here we have excuse me, the case for his rifle, which is the same rifle that comes with Low Light, and this is the same case that Low Light comes with. And as you can see, it's got molded places for each of the rifle pieces to go into, and it does have a post on the back here to port into his back, and a port in it so you can port his other gear in there, namely his quiver, if that's something you want to do. Here we have his hat, and I have to say, very Crocodile Dundee inspired. And it does look nice. It looks like it's molded all in this color, and then the teeth and the band here are a paint app, so that looks pretty cool. Next up we have his rifle, which again is the same one that Low Light comes with, and the suppressor does remove, and it does have a port in it for blast effects. The barrel of the rifle has a port where you can port in the suppressor or blast effects. The sight is removable, or the scope rather. The clip or ammo magazine is removable, and the bipod is removable. And I have to say, it all has nice molded details, and again, it's the same one that came with Low Light, and I'm guessing it's molded in this color in the black's a paint app, but it could be the opposite. So that's cool. And you probably can't see it on camera, but on the inside of where the ammo magazine goes, there's an indentation of a bullet in there. But there's not one in the magazine. So that's, I don't know. That's new on me. I didn't notice that on low light. Of course, I haven't finished his review yet either. And then here we have Yobo, which is 100% completely non-articulated. Now, I do have to say, the mold on it looks pretty good. And what little bit of paint apps on it, they look decent. But one point of contention for me with this one is I really wish they had at least put the tail on a ball joint or a plug-in swivel so that you could move it up out of the way, so he could actually, you know, he can't really stand up on the ground. So that's a disappointment. And he also has some like fade in or fade out paint apps right here for his hands and feet, or feet, paws, whatever they are called. So not super happy about that. Now we're going to move Naugahyde out of the way for a minute and we'll take a look at Pork Belly. And first off, I have to say, it kind of feels like the Joe team is taking a backward step with Pork Belly, because he doesn't have hinge and swivels in his joints. He has pinned elbows and ankles, so there is no swivel in any of these joints like with Junkyard and Timber. So, you know, that's a little disappointing right off the bat. Now I will say the paint apps on this thing do look really good. He's got this hoop through his nose, it's all spiked up, and the mouth does open and close, and you can see there's some paint apps on the inside there. See those teeth back there? And then up here in the front, right here, and then here. So I will say they did a nice job on the paint. Look at the eyes and around the eyes, and this running down from the eye where, you know, he's got some stuff running out of his eyes. And then, you know, I do think it's nicely molded as far as the detail goes. It does have a lot of detail in there. And look, he's got a little earring in there. Not on the other side though. Let's take a look at his articulation quickly. The tail is on a ball joint in there, so it'll move up and down a little bit and side to side a little bit, and of course it will rotate all the way around. And at the thighs it's on like a half dumbbell, so you've got some rotation in and out there, and it will do a full 360 degrees of rotation at this first, or this knee joint, I guess. Feels like he should have a joint up in here too, but so it will go back that far, it will go forward that far, and then at the ankle it goes back that far, and it goes forward that far. And you got a cut right here that's on a ball joint or half dumbbell, whichever you want to call it. So it does, his back will bend that far up, that far forward. He does have 360 degrees of rotation, although I don't know why you would need it. And then, you know, it's just got all kinds of hula going on in there. Then at the front legs, again, they're on that ball joint or half dumbbell, whichever you want to call it, and it will go, let's see, it will go 360 degrees all the way around. At this pinned joint, it'll go back that far, and you can see the fur here kind of stops it, and then it goes forward that far, and then at this ankle joint it goes back that far and forward that far, and no tilt on any of the legs, front or back. Now at the neck joint here, it's another, seems like, I don't know really what's 100% going on in here, but it will go back that far. It'll go down that far, and it doesn't seem to want to move a lot as far as rotation there. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. Then there's a cut here at the head, and I'm pretty sure this one was on a dumbbell or a ball joint of some kind, but it really doesn't do much. You can get it to rotate back and forth a little bit, but it doesn't really go, well, it goes up a little bit maybe, but it's not a whole lot of movement in there. He can, you know, move it a little bit, and of course I already showed that the jaw does open and close. So now let's take a look at Naugahyde, and I have to say the deco on this is pretty cool looking. He's got a tattoo of the Anarchy symbol over here, and then I'm not 100% sure what this tattoo is, because it's kind of broken up on the sculpt and it doesn't really line up good. So, but it looks like a skull of some kind, maybe a dog skull. It's really hard to tell. Maybe an alligator or crocodile, but knife through it and an arrow through it, and then there's a snake coming out of the bottom of it, and he's coiled around the knife here at the top. So it's still kind of cool looking, even though if you can't really make it out that great. And there's a close-up of his Anarchy tattoo, which looks good, I think. He's got some nice deco animal print on his vest here, and nice colors here and on the strap, and then, you know, some paint apps right here on that strap. And then he's got this bracer leather wrap, studded, and it looks like it's molded in this color, and then it's got these silver paint apps on it, and they go all the way around, so that's cool. And then here we've got another band. I guess this one was a wristband made out of animal fur, and then it's got this strap on it with the teeth in it. Can't be that comfortable. Then we've got the belt here. He's got a little bit of a paint app here on the belt, and the grenades here, but not the grenades over here. And then the sheath, which may be a separate piece glued on there. And then pants with a knee pad on this side, but not on this side. And then shin guards and a sheath for a knife here. And I'm going to go ahead and say, I think a lot of this is reused from Gung Ho, because we've got these double hinged pinless elbows and knees, and then, you know, these shin guards are straight from Gung Ho, it appears. So I'm gonna say at least the arms, and probably from the waist down, is reused from Gung Ho. And they may, I can't remember if Gung Ho had this knee pad or not, but so they may have retooled it a little bit for this knee without the pad. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely the rest of the arms and legs seem to be reused from Gung Ho. And oh, while we're talking about the deco and stuff, I forgot this tattoo here on his head, and he's got some claw marks here, or scars on the top of his head, and they seem to have a bit of a paint app on it too. And then reasonably nice printing, inkjet, whatever it is they want to call it these days. For the eyes and maybe the eyebrows, not so much for the beard and the teeth. They look like a traditional paint app, and then we've got some teeth or tusks along this side of the vest, and they're supposedly they loop through as buttons on this side. So let's take a look at his articulation. He's on a hinge and ball at the neck, so he can look up that high, he can look down that low, and then I think there's a ball joint here at the base of the neck as well. So he's got chicken neck, he's got some waggle, he can do excuse me, the full exorcist. Butterfly at the shoulder goes back that far, forward that far, so not encouraging. 360 degrees of rotation there. And at the shoulder, the arm raises up, it looks like approximately 90 degrees. Cut here at the upper bicep for a full 360 degree rotation. As I mentioned before, double hinged pinned elbows. And it can give you that much bend. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on in and out hinge, and in and out hinge on the other side as well. As a traditional, well, at least what I call a traditional ab hinge. And then he's got a ball joint at the waist. So working in conjunction, he can lean back that far with both of those joints, forward that far, and then he's got some hula. He can lean left and right. So pretty good. Also at that ball joint, he does get a 360 degree rotation. At the hips, they're on a pull down joint. So they do pull down, and when you pull them down, he gets the full splits. He can kick forward that far, not quite 90 degrees, and backwards about 3/4 of a step maybe. That wasn't pulled down, but there we go. It's pulled down now, so still looks like maybe 3/4 of a step. Cut here at the upper thigh for a full 360 degree rotation. Double hinged pinned knees again. And it gives you that much bend. And then at about the mid shin, there is a boot cut for another 360 degrees of rotation. At the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, so not a whole lot. And then forward facing pin for rocker. Now, as far as his accessories go, let me see if I can get him on there. So first up, I'm gonna pop his head off. Then you can put his dog tags, and I may leave these off. I hadn't decided 100% yet. And then his tooth necklace, or trophy necklace, whatever you want to call it. And you can pop his head back on there, maybe. There it goes. Nice satisfying pop. So, I don't know, that just doesn't seem to sit right. It may have something to do with the vest as well, but I don't know. I don't really like the way that sits. But that's just me. Then you take his knives, and one of them goes down here on his lower leg. I'll say it does. Doesn't really want to. Yes, very, very tight fit for that. But this is soft plastic. The sheath is, so. And this one again, it's a snug fit, but it's not tight like this one. So there is that. So you can take his quiver, it plugs right back into his back, but not that way. You got to turn it around. So it doesn't want to go in there real far. So there's that. And take the little scope, I guess, off of the bow. And it slides in there, or it can slide in there as well, either one. And then the best way I found to put this on is right here where the handle is, goes here, and it looks odd, but if you put it on the other side, it looks like it's bending the bow up a little bit, so I'm guessing that's how it goes. Then the arrow goes right in that tube, and it's not super tight, but it does hold it in there. So there's those things. Oh, I think I finally figured out what that other, no, that won't go in there either. So I don't know about that one. So let's get him out of the way for just a minute. That's it out of the way. Then we'll take the rifle, and as far as how it fits in the case, you do put the magazine back in it. And maybe I can do that, maybe I can't. I'm probably just sticking it in there the wrong way. It goes like that. So once you get that in there, just stick the rifle on in there, and it kind of holds in place there. You mash it in kind of good and it'll hold. So then we have the suppressor. And it just goes in like that. The scope. And it'll go right in there if you line it up properly. And then the bipod. And it all fits in there pretty snugly so it doesn't just fall out. And then you can just snap that closed, and he can carry it by the handle, or again it does have a post on it. And so we can bring him back out now and put his hat on him, and it seems it stays on there pretty good. And then for his sword machete thing, he can hold it in his hand, or use ropes to strap it onto his arm. I don't know how well this is gonna hold. I don't know how well that's gonna last over time. I think some kind of post probably would have worked better, but that's my opinion. Your mileage, of course, may vary. And then you can put the rifle case in his hand. And wow, this is really long. So there we have that. And then we have pork belly, and we have the useless monkey piece. That, my friends, is a look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Dreadnought Naugahyde Yobo, and Porkbelly, with the G.I. Joe Classified Series Alpha Commandos 2-pack of Commando, Snake Eyes, and Timber, and the G.I. Joe Classified Series Mutt and Junkyard. Here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Dreadnought, Naugahyde, Porkbelly, and Yobo, with the Valaverse Action Force Special Deployment Series Swarm Sentry, and the Valaverse Action Force Scarab. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Naugahyde, Porkbelly, and Yobo, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified Series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the G.I. Joe Classified Series Dreadnought, Naugahyde, Porkbelly, and Yobo, I have to say this set is a little bit of a mixed bag in my opinion. Your mileage, of course, may vary, but I understand the pins in the arms and legs of Naugahyde. They're reuse. I wish they would update that gung-ho, or maybe it's roadblock arms and legs to be pinless if we're going to continue to use them on these, you know, bigger, beefier dudes. But the real kicker here is the fact that Porkbelly is pinned in all of his leg articulation except for the shoulders and the flanks, I suppose. At least for the legs. Now for the body, for the most part, you know, it's okay, it's fine. But the fact that we're so far along in this line using pinless joints, and to have a new sculpt like this, at least it's new that I know of, and to have a new sculpt like this not using the pinless or, you know, hinge and swivel at least, it's a bit of an odd choice. And I don't know if they were like, well, the arms and legs on Naugahyde are pinned, so Porkbelly should be pinned. Let's match it up. Yeah, I don't think it's that. I really don't. And then Yobo, which is pretty much, you can't do much with it. It's not posable. The pose that it is in is pretty useless, in my opinion. Again, your mileage may vary, but I just feel like it is a useless accessory. If they had just put a little bit of articulation in his arms and legs and his tail, or heck, even in just his tail, it really would have helped a lot. But they opted not to do that. Then we come to the machete or sword that clips onto his arm. I really wish they would have found a different way to do that other than that rope looking mess that's on it. And I know that's a feature that the original figure had. I did not have this figure originally, but I know that that figure had that clip-on sword or machete, and that they were trying to duplicate that here. But I think they could have updated that a little bit, because it looks like really that piece, they did not put much effort into it at all, in my opinion. I don't like it. I mean, when it's on there, it looks okay, but the fact that he can't hold it in his hand and use it because it looks, quite frankly, dumb, is just, I don't know, laziness. It feels a little lazy on Hasbro's part, and I hate that. I hate when they take shortcuts on this line, because overall the line is really good, and I enjoy this line for the most part. And maybe part of me just being down on this guy is that he's one of the few figures I've picked up that have come out after, you know, I aged out of A Real American Hero originally. And so maybe that's part of it, but I can forgive the pins on Naugahyde, but Pork Belly, there's no excuse in that. And then Yobo, you know, for what that useless piece cost, you could have given us pinless joints on Pork Belly and left him out, at least in my opinion. Now, everything about this figure is not negative. I know I talked about like 5 minutes here on all the things I don't like, but overall, you know, I like Pork Belly's sculpt. I like what they did with Naugahyde as far as the sculpt and the deco, and I like the deco on Pork Belly as well. Yobo is okay as far as the sculpt. I mean, the sculpt is good, and you know, he doesn't have a whole lot of paint apps going on, but it looks good what is there. Now, I like the leopard print on Naugahyde's vest. I think that's well done. He's got, you know, a necklace with teeth on it, as well as some dog tags, and they put the detail in of teeth as buttons on the vest. He's got that nice Anarchy tattoo, as you can see as it comes around. He pretty much has storage for all of his gear, so I like that. And one other kind of not so great feature of this figure is coming around now. You know, if you pose his arm any way but one, it breaks up that tattoo that goes over his upper and lower bicep. And I'm glad they didn't take the articulation of that out. It's just one of those things that bugs me a little bit. It's not a big deal. It's not as big a deal to me as the pins in Pork Belly and the uselessness of Yobo. But, you know, again, like I said, you know, there's some good parts to this figure, and some of you out there who were still into this line, or not this line, but the Real American Hero line as a kid when this figure came out, you know, it was probably a really cool figure. And so, you know, I guess you just have to go with your own personal preferences. For me, I don't know how many of the Real American Hero boxes this really ticks for me, because again, I didn't have this figure as a kid, so, you know, I can't really say how much of that it really ticks off. For me personally, and again, your mileage may vary, this really could have been a pass for me. And if I would have known ahead of time that Pork Belly was hinged and doesn't really fit in with the other animals because of that aesthetically. You know, I probably would have passed on this. If this had just been a single release of Naugahyde without pork belly, I probably would have passed on it. Because it's not one of those great figures. One other good thing I've forgotten to mention, I just saw it as it passed around here and I remembered it. You know, the tattoo Tampo on his head. That's, you know, it's partially covered up by the hat. And I do like the hat and the way it's removable. So, you know, it's not all bad. It's not the most horrible figure I've ever reviewed. That honor would be for a knockoff SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z Piccolo, which I'm still working myself up to finish that review. This thing is so bad. But we're not talking about that now. We're talking about this guy. And again, for me, I probably could have passed on this one. It's okay to me. And again, your mileage may vary. This may be your favorite G.I. Joe character of all time. And if it is, you know, you're going to have a different opinion than mine, and that's okay. Because I'm not going to like every single piece that ever comes out. You're not going to like every single piece that ever comes out. So, as long as we disagree respectfully, it's all good. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you're interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help channel grow, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.